Good evening once again. Welcome live to ringside at Earls Court. I'm David Brenner. Sitting alongside me, the former featherweight champion of the world, Barry McGuigan, and the undefeated former featherweight champion of Europe, Jimmy McDonald. Title fights all the way here tonight. And first up, the British and Commonwealth lightweight championship. Carl Crook, a Lonsdale belt holder in record quick time, up against Brian Roche. And this, the Battle of the Red Rose, all Lancastrian. First in the challenger, in the lime green poncho, Brian Roche. From back up, here's his manager, Jack Trickett, in the background there. 29 years of age, Brian, rated number 5 by our statistician, George Zeleny, the editor of Boxing Outlook magazine. And one of those two draws was way back in 1986 against Carl Crook. The Central Area title was at stake then, and it was a draw over 10 rounds. So in gets Brian Roche. He's a hard man, this. And we await the arrival of the champion, Carl Crook, former paratrooper, coming in. There's Freddie King there in the glasses on the right-hand side. And there's Carl wearing the maroon colours of the parachute regiment. He's got his parachute wings on the right-hand leg of his boxing trunks. Number 1, of course, the defending champion. The one defeat, that was against Joey Jacobs. Ironically, also in a Central Area title fight. The draw, of course, as I've already told you, back in 1986 against Brian Roche. A likeable young man, Carl Crook. Harbours European and world honours, but first of all, he's got to get past Brian Roche. Well, let's hear now from our MC, Alan Hughes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now live with our viewers on Spring Sport in the United Kingdom, Sport Canal in Germany, Austria and Switzerland, Sportnet in Holland and Belgium, and TV Sport in France. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a lightweight contest at 9 stone at 9 pounds, over 12 3-minute rounds for the British and Commonwealth Lightweight Championship. Introducing in the red corner with the black shorts, the challenger for the title from Bacup, Brian Roche. And his opponent in the blue corner with the maroon shorts and defending the title, the British and Commonwealth Lightweight Champion from Chorley, Carl Crook. At the weigh-in this morning, Brian Roche held 9 stone 7.5 pounds. Carl Crook 9 stone 8.75 pounds. Your referee for this contest.
Well, both boys comfortably inside the 9 stone 9 pound weight limit. Larry O'Connell, one of the best Britain has to offer, the third man in the ring. We're going to hear first from Barry McGuigan. Another day at the office for Carl Crook. Barry, he's won a Lonsdale belt in record quick time.
That's right. This is an important fight for him. It's a fight he can't win or lose, because Roche, if anything, has gone backwards. He has gone forward. He's a much more competent fighter than the fighter that fought Roche a couple of years back. He's very sharp. Roche in his last fight against Steve Robinson looked a bit suspect and was lucky to get that draw. And I think Crook's going to win this fight just after the halfway stage. He's going to stop Roche. That's a fairly bold predicament, but a prediction at this stage, but I really think that Crook's on a winner. He's looking very good. His confidence is at an all-time high, and he's really on a buzz.
Well, this is the 12-round trip, which Carl Crook is no stranger to. Last defence, remember, up in Preston against Najib Deo. The defence before that also in Preston against Ian Honeywood.
In those two fights, he was very sharp there, and he's got more confidence in his punching ability now, his power. And if you watch right away, he's taking the centre of the ring, taking control of this fight, and he's pushing Roche back. Roche is obviously an offensive fighter and doesn't like to go back, but Crook has taken the play away from him completely. Look at the concentration on his eyes. Hasn't taken his eyes off of Roche, just not even once. His timing is obviously very good. He's had more fights recently than Roche has, and he's very quick hands, we know that. Carl works everything off the jab, so watch for him to flick that jab, confuse Roche with the jab, and then toss the right hand over in the quick left hooks and get out of trouble very quickly. He's got great legs. I sparred with him before. He's good, very good legs. He bounces in and out of trouble very quickly.
Yes, he's maturing into a very good champion indeed now, is Crook. He destroyed Honeywood really in 4, and Honeywood was a tough cookie. He could outreach and out-jab Brian Roche, and I suspect he can out-punch him as well if it comes to that.
Yeah, he's a vastly improved fighter. His confidence is going with his titles, and his speed is just as good as it ever was. And he's now standing and trading a bit more. He's digging his heels in, and he's already shaken Roche in this first round. Looking very impressive indeed.
Well, the first round drawing to its conclusion, and the first round being taken quite comfortably by the champion.
Good opener for Crook.
Carl Crook. Freddie King, trainer of champions now in the Matchroom stable. Jack Trickett looking on anxiously. Brian Roche. I guess the fight plan is to get inside the Crook jab, work to the body. Let's bring in Jimmy McDonald here. Jimmy, Carl Crook, no stranger to you in the ring.
He's happy now, Andy. Thanks, Richard.
Oh, sorry, we lost Jimmy's comment then. Jimmy, we were saying that Carl Crook and yourselves have met in the ring before. Well, I'm not sure we've got a little trouble with Jimmy McDonald's microphone. We'll try and fix that for you. In the meantime, we'll keep going with Barry.
Roche has come out much more offensively in this round. He's starting to move his head a bit more and making himself a more difficult target to hit. That's what he's got to do. That's his only chance against Crook. Crook is a very sharp hitter, very fast hands, and if he hits Roche with the jab, he'll hit him with all the other punches. So Roche has got to move his head if he hopes to have any chance in this fight. He's got to start throwing punches as well. He's not doing that. He's waiting on Crook. And
he looks very apprehensive, does Roche?
Exactly, Dave. You know, you don't wait with a counter puncher like Crook. You've got to go to him. Look at that right hand that just bounced off his chin there. You've got to take the fight to him. Crook looks really
Crook looking to do a job now.
He's really sharp, sharpest attack, sharpest I've seen him for a long time now, and his confidence is great, and he's looking very impressive here. Just taking the centre of the ring, doing as he likes at the moment, flicking that jab out, hitting Roche with the jab. He's waiting for Roche to make the mistake of dropping his hand, and he's going to come across with that right hand.
And Roche, for all his efforts, gets in a good swinging right hand, but he looks almost crude by comparison with Crook.
That's right. Took a good right hand return there. Looks distinctly shaky with those punches. Those punches are really cracking in, and watch how quick Crook acts. When he hits him with one punch, he'll make 3 or 4 punches nail the target immediately afterwards, whether it's a right hand or a left hook. As soon as he hits the target with that left jab, over comes the right, up comes the left hook. Very sharp indeed. At the moment, he's just picking his shots, placing them, and then eventually he'll start digging his heels in and really slamming on those shots. Another good round for him.
No, he's just eating the jab at the moment, is Brian Roche. And as I said, his only real hope is to slip it and do some work inside of the body, because he's never, ever going to out-jab Crook if they stay until Christmas.
That's right, Dave. He's got to take the fight to him. He's not doing it at the moment.
Well, the second round drawing to its conclusion now. There indeed is the bell. 2 rounds completed, both won by Carl Crook. We'll be back in just a moment. Round 3. So let's see if we've solved our sound problem with Jimmy. Jimmy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Oh,
mate.
well done. Good evening.
Good evening to everybody at home as well.
Now, let's establish for the third time, you've been in the ring with Carl Crook before.
That's right. I drew Carl in the ABA Championships in 1982, and he hasn't, apart from becoming stronger and more, he's got exactly the same style now with more variety to his work there. Then he's always a classy boxer, as he's proving tonight. Just looking at this fight, I mean, Cole's a big lightweight who just squeezes into 9 stone 9 against, to me, this guy looks like a super featherweight, top whack. And at this level, you're going to get found out.
Well, he came in at 9.7½, which is £1.5 pound under the limit. And he looks as though he can lose a couple more pounds as well, does Brian Roche.
Yeah, I think he's coming to the ring with a lot of respect for Carl Crook. In the first round, I don't think he threw one shot. As Barry said earlier in the commentary, the great thing with Carl is his hand speed. Either the right hand or the jab, they're both just as fast, and Roche is finding great difficulty in avoiding any of them.
Midway through the third, and to be perfectly honest with you, Brian Roche has done absolutely nothing so far to even remotely inconvenience Carl Crook.
Yeah, Carl's just picking away, looking to set him up for a big shot, and if he nails him with a good shot, I'm sure we'll see Carl go for the big finish. But at the moment, Roche has mixed in good class before. He's never really won in good class, but so he's come out against good crop fighters, including former stoneweight and Mo Sane, and so I shouldn't imagine he's going to be overawed by the occasion.
I only think Crook's got to be a little bit careful of. He's got a wee tendency to cut round the eyes, to keep his head out of trouble. Oh, what a stinging right cross then.
Not that he weren't accurate at the beginning, but he's getting very accurate now. When you think these two guys fought a draw in '86, right now it seems hard to believe, but Carl has come on in leaps and bounds. Winning the championships gives him so much confidence in himself. You can see now he's looking and boxing like a champion.
Well, Roche trying to come in to no avail. And this is an impressive performance so far by Carl Crook. He's one of these fighters who's grown into the championship. He's acquired confidence and poise. And he looks every inch as a champion should look.
I'll agree with that statement.
Well, back in the champion's corner, Freddie King.
You know, he just kick out here on the slow motion. Roche is trying to bob and weave his way inside, and Cole sets him up with a flicking jab and looks for the big right hand over the top. That looks like his game plan. And Roche is going to have great difficulty in getting to where he needs to be.
Well, he's simply got to start trying to work more, is Brian Roche, because he's lost each of the 3 completed rounds so far.
No question.
And Barry, the thing with Carl Crook, he's not doing anything dramatic. He's doing the basics, but he's doing them superbly well.
Yeah, what Carl's doing at the moment, he's just slowly picking them apart. He's setting the fight up completely, and what he intends doing in the second half of the fight, as Roche starts to wear down. I admire Roche's durability, but that's all I can admire. He's doing absolutely nothing. The only way to beat a counterpuncher is to take the fight to him. Someone like Carl Crook, you've got to take the fight to him. You have no chance of outboxing him. He's too fast. He's too quick on his feet. He'll just pull back a foot, make you miss by a mile, and then come back in again. You've got to push him. You've got to push him back, put him on his back feet. And Roche hasn't been doing that. And as I say, I admire his durability, but he's got to do more than that. If he's any chance of winning this fight, he's got to take the fight to Carl and start throwing punches, rolling his head and letting shots go. Look at his feet. His feet aren't moving at all. He's just standing there right in the middle of the ring, and Crook is taking him apart, boxing his head off. But, you know, you've got to say that, you know, your opponent will only allow you to do what he wants, of course, unless you're able to capitalise on his weaknesses. And at the moment, Carl Crook is not showing many weaknesses. He's showing lots of power and snap, and he's doing the right thing. He's just completely outboxing Roche.
As we've said so often before, that when you're a challenger, you've got to go out and you've got to take the title. Nobody's going to do you any favours. You've got to go out, you've got to be aggressive, you've got to force the pace. And Brian Roche, for all his honest endeavour, is simply not getting anywhere near Carl Crook at the moment. All you've got to do is look at the crispness and the cleanness and the accuracy of the champion's work.
He's taking too many shots at the moment. He's rolling his head, you know, nicely sometimes, but he's not coming back with punches. He's got to take the fight to Crook and throw a few shots. And even if he makes Crook miss, he's got to come over with his right hand like that and left hook afterwards. Instead of throwing one punch, he's got to throw punches in bunches.
Punches in bunches. Not a bad little slogan, that. Because at the moment, the punches in bunches are coming from Carl Crook, and every single one is landing.
Absolutely. His accuracy has been really impressive tonight. Look, he never misses the target. Everything was right between Roche's eyes.
And I tell you, Carl Crook is not really out of first gear yet. He hasn't been pushed. He's treating this almost like a sparring session.
Absolutely.
It's being fought at not a fast pace. It's a nice, easy pace. Crook is being allowed to dominate the fight, and well, he got tagged then. Well, he's going to take some shots in the fight, but he's doing exactly what he wants as the champion at the moment. A little clash of heads, and Larry O'Connell says, "Watch it."
Crook is not working on the body at all. Doesn't need to. Roche's head is so open, he's just nailing him with 1, 2, 3s to the head. And look at that.
Oh, a good right hand.
Beautiful
And
shot.
that wobbled him, and Roche forced a hold. Well, he's not really a knockout specialist, is Carl Crook. He doesn't have a one-punch finish, but he can put you down with clusters and keep you down.
He's a very sharp hitter, and recently he's been improving a great deal with his accuracy and with his power. And look at him digging his heels in now. Watch him to do that.
We'll take another break. Join us again in just a moment. And welcome back. David Brenner, Jimmy McDonald, Barry McGuigan with you at ringside. Start of round 5 in this British and Commonwealth lightweight championship bout. Carl Crook from Chorley, a former paratrooper in the maroon colours of the parachute regiment, and Brian Roche from Bacup in the black and amber. Oh, Jimmy, you've been doing a bit of corner work lately, short of sticking a pin up Brian Roche's backside. What would you be doing between the rounds?
Well, I think it's basically what we were saying earlier. You know, he's fighting the wrong type of fight against a guy like Carl Crook. You know, Carl's superior in the physical department. He's longer, he's got the longer reach. He's just a bigger frame fighter altogether, and you know, he's trying to outfox him and outbox him at the distance Cole likes to work at, and really it's playing right into Cole's path. And I think the way, if the fight doesn't change its path, and Roche is the only one who can change it, because Cole's keep it as it is, he's going to end up getting stopped, because Cole really did nail him in the last round with a cracking right hand. that shook him. And as you said, Cole's still in first gear.
Well, I've got to say that although there have been no knockdowns yet and both boys are still relatively unmarked, it's difficult to see this one going the distance. Crook just looks a bigger fighter. It looks like a light welterweight against a very lightweight at the moment. And it's difficult to believe that there's only, something like 3/4 pound between these guys, about 12 ounces, because he really does look bigger in all departments, Carl Crook.
Yeah, you know, there's weight on the scales, but there's a big difference in one guy weighing 9.7.5 and Cole Crook squeezing his body into 9.8 3/4. You know, Cole's like a sponge now, and I can assure you by the time he's pumped into that ring tonight, he's put on a nice few pound. Whereas I'd imagine Mr. Roche is still walking about at 9.7.5. That's the difference in getting down to the division, and you can see by the size of Cole.
Yes, they weigh in at lunchtime today, and after that you're going to have your first good meal for about a month, and you come in at well over the championship limit.
You know, Roche is just trying to take Cole with single shots of a big swinging right hand or sort of long leaping in left hook, and you know, Cole's a craftsman, a smart operator, and he's just not going to get caught by anything like as you see here. And at the moment it's hard to see Roche spinning the fight round, to be quite honest.
Well, it's significant perhaps that when Roche has fought at the highest level, he's lost. Hugh Ford beat him in a couple of rounds. And it looks as though Carl Crook's doing a similar number on him tonight. Roche, to his credit, Roche is trying to pick the pace up, but not finding any weaknesses yet.
No, you'll find Brian Roche, he's a terrific kid, and he's as game as they come. I mean, I sparred with him myself back in '82 as it was, and he was a tough nut then, and nothing's changed.
Well, 12,000 people up at the Earls court here tonight, and he looks a tired and dispirited fighter now, does Brian Roche.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
And you start wondering just how long this fight can go on. Jack Trickett looking concerned. Maybe one or two more, Barry?
Yeah, I think more than that, Roche fought better in that round and was much more offensive and much more aggressive, but he still didn't do enough and didn't hit Crook. The great advantage that Crook has over all these guys is his speed.
Coming up to the halfway point, round 6, 5 rounds completed. And I guess you'd have to say, Barry, that all of them won by Carl Crook.
Yeah, that was a good left hook from Roche. He hurt Crook with that. Good left hook.
Oh, yes. Well, this is the fight that Roche should have been fighting.
Hit him on top of the head. There's a sort of a delayed reaction shot. It's around the side of the head, the temple area. That's a danger area, and it certainly had an effect on Crook. And Roche is getting a bit desperate and coming screaming forward. A bit of untidy work on the inside there. The referee, Larry O'Connell, had to remind him to just be careful and play by the rules. But that was a good result for Roche. That's his only success the whole 6 rounds so far, 7 rounds so far.
And the head's getting a little bit wild and woolly. But this is what Roche should be doing now.
Well, he should have been doing this in the very start, Dave. And the greatest problem in this game is when you start a fight off and don't use the right tactics initially, it's very, very difficult, and takes a great fighter to turn his tactics around halfway through a fight. Now, I'm very impressed with the way that Roche has sort of come out and landed that punch, and he's very determined. He's come back into the fight in this round. But, you know, Carl Crook is a very fast and very sharp guy, and look at how quick those 2 punches landed there. That's the advantage he has. You talked in the last round about having a physical advantage. His biggest physical advantage is his sharpness and his speed and his pinpoint accuracy. And Roche is really only a super featherweight, Dave. He's no more than a super featherweight. And as Jimmy said, you know, Carl Crook has come down from 10.5 stone to make 9 stone 9. And you can be sure that this guy Roche has probably come down from about 9 stone 10, 9 stone 8 at the very most, because he doesn't look like he's in tremendous shape, but he's a very tough and durable guy.
Well, he certainly took the initiative away from Carl Crook at the start of this round. That was a big shot and it hurt the champion. Larry O'Connell calling a timeout.
Crook was definitely hurt by that long left hook. Carl's just got to be a bit careful, because, you know, Roche is going to be aggressive now, and he's going to try all the desperation tactics. He's really starting to fight now, Roche. And although he's observed a lot of punches in the earlier rounds, you know, I'm been impressed with the way he's been able to take them. And he came back very well there at the beginning of the last round, and in the beginning of this one.
Well, he's now roughing Crook up a little bit. He's working inside. He's giving him a little bit of a gloving, and that's what you've got to do.
Exactly. And you know, you asked me at the beginning of this round, Dave, how many more rounds could Roche take this? And I said there's a few more now, because I'll tell you, he looked very good at the beginning. That was a good left hook, and he's got great encouragement out of that.
And you really wish, for Brian Roche's viewpoint, that he really had come out like this at the start of round one, because there's no doubt that Carl Crook was in a nice, smooth style. He was in first gear. He was just pecking out the jab, bringing over the right cross, and suddenly, bang, at the start of this round, round 6, who's this lunatic I've got in front of me?
Exactly, that's taken him out of his stride completely. Crook has just got to, you know, clear his head and get back into the same way of fighting, and start doing the same thing again, taking the fight from the centre of the ring, giving himself plenty of room to pull back and out jab Roche, get that jab going, and the quick counter punches when Roche misses with his stuff. But there's a lot of encouragement in the Roche corner at the moment.
That's right, and you know, you saw Larry O'Connell. He's going over, having another word with Brian Roche now. Well, Brian Roche is fighting within the rules. He's pushing it as far as he can.
Here's this left hook that actually hit. That's in actual fact, it was a right hand. I thought it was a long sort of a left hook, but I was proved wrong. There was a lovely right hand just around the butt of the ear hole, and it was a really good shot.
As I said, Brian Roche pushing the rules as far as he can. And, well, as long as Larry O'Connell doesn't disqualify him, you can't blame him for seeing what he can get away with, Jimmy.
That's correct. I mean, at the start of that round, Carl, as you said, got caught with a really good shot. And the difficulty is when you're so far in front, so on top, it's very easy just to switch off even for a split second, because that's how long a punch takes to land. And he shook Carl up now and realised that there's two men in this fight.
And I gave that last round to Brian Roche. And Larry O'Connell giving a very, very stern warning now. This is the last time. You see, did you hear him? Can you lip read? That's his last warning.
I told you earlier in the commentary that Roche is as tough as they come, and take it from me, I've seen him spar and mix it with some tough kids, and he's not frightened of mixing it up with the elbows or the head either, so I'm sure he'll try it with a championship on the line.
Well, you know, over the course of the last couple of years on Pro Box, we've featured something like 200 fights, and not one has ended on disqualification. And I guess by the law of averages, one has to sometime. And what a tragedy it would be if it should be in a fight for the British and Commonwealth titles.
I'm not saying Cole's panicking, but he's been pushed out of the groove that he was into, and now he's starting to look a little bit out of sorts with himself. He's trying to like lean in with big shots rather than setting a guy up with the jab, and Roche's tactics are beginning to play and work for him.
Another good shot from the challenger. When we saw Crook in action against Najib Deo, he's not afraid of a war, and he'll fight a war if needs be, but he's been forced to change tactics now, and as Barry has already told us, when you've been fighting one way and suddenly you've got to fight another way, it's a very tough thing to do.
Now he's had a bit of success, Roche. He actually looks like he believes he can possibly turn it around. There's a different look in his eyes. He's fighting all of a sudden with loads of ambition, whereas at one stage earlier on in the fight he just seemed to be going through the stages and looked to be accepting that he was not quite in Carl's class, but now all of a sudden he realises that ain't the case, and he's going to try his damnedest to pull it off.
Well, I don't think there can be too much doubt in the light of his subsequent performance that Brian Roche was perhaps overawed by the size of the occasion. But my word, he's making a good shot of it now.
Roche, at last, is boxing the right type of fight for himself. He's using the right tactics now. He's pushing Carl onto his back foot. He's getting low and looking to get in with big shots and upset the rhythm of Crook. But there he goes again, and Larry O'Connell's looking close at the illegal tactics.
And what he's doing is when they're getting close, he's rubbing the inside of his glove up Carl Crook's face. That's what he's doing wrong.
Good right hand. Bang on.
That wasn't wrong.
Carl's concentration has just gone a little bit haywire from it. That's one of his great strengths. And all of a sudden he's getting involved, which is, full credit to Roche. He's roughing him up. And, there's no malice in it, but he's in there to win. And, the rule book goes out the window when the bell goes. There's the championship on the line.
That's right.
Another tough round for Carl Crook. And a round that I'm sure Mr. Roche and his corner will be well pleased with.
And suddenly you're looking at a man who is just believing that he might possibly have the winning of this fight. You hear the trainer, he's going, he's weakening. Well, I wouldn't put it quite as far as that, but there's no doubt that Brian Roche is taking a lot of the initiative away from Carl Crook.
Here you see, I think it's Crook, he's head up in the air. It's not as if he's tucked up and fighting close. He's just beginning to reach with his own shots, and this guy's got his head down, he's bustling forward, and he's swinging them over
now,
from
there's
all
the head,
orthodox angles.
And watch the glove, you see? Now, that's not strictly within the Marquis of Queensberry, that is, and that is what Larry O'Connell is getting a little bit uptight about.
It's a very uncomfortable situation, and you can lose your head a little bit. Cole's got to stay cool.
Second round, round 8.
8th round of the scheduled 12-rounder. Brian Roche on a bit of a tightrope, Barry, with that threat of disqualification hanging over him.
Yeah, but he's got to go for it. He's in a difficult situation. It's all or nothing at this stage. He's well behind. He's got to take the fight to Carl Crook. He certainly knocked him out of his stride in the last couple of rounds, and Carl has been making the mistakes in the last round of standing and trading with Roche, and that's the only chance that Roche has of nailing Crook. So Crook should be just a bit more careful, but he's been hit with a couple of good solid shots. It's stunned him a bit, and he's lost a bit of his speed and a bit of his concentration, as Jimmy said in the last round. He's not as sharp again. He's just lost it a wee fraction, and he's gone off the rails a bit. But it'll be interesting to see how this fight goes now.
Well, the head's getting very dangerous, and once again, Larry O'Connell is reading the riot act, and I just wonder how long his patience might last.
But at this stage, Dave, it's the Roche who looks the more confident. He's really having a go at Crook now. He's had a bit of success in the last few rounds, and he really wants to have a real war here. Carl's just got to hold it together, be nice and sharp. Don't stand with him. Get on his toes and move around him, outbox him, hit him with the jab, and start landing the right hand and left hook. And get those hands up, because Roche is really throwing desperation punches here. And any one of these punches that Roche throws can really hurt.
And you wish that Roche had started off like this, but as I said, I'm convinced in my own mind that the occasion he froze for the first few rounds. He wasn't at the races.
That's right, he didn't use the right tactics from the start, and it's always hard, as I said, to turn it around, but he's done a hell of a job in the last few rounds, and he's really coming into the fight.
A minute left of this, the 8th round scheduled 12-round championship contest. And Crook really has got to try and get back to what he was doing so well in the opening half dozen rounds or so, just picking out that jab.
Watch what Roche is doing, Dave. He's given Carl the top of his head as he's coming forward. That's what Larry O'Connell's warning him about. He's rushing in there with his head sort of parallel with the canvas, so as not to get nailed on the chin. But it's very dangerous sort of tactics, and the referee's liable to chuck him out for it. He's already warned him a number of times.
Well, he's given him one final warning and another final warning.
It's always difficult for Carl Crook to hit an opponent, for anybody to hit a shorter opponent coming at you with his head his face parallel with the floor. It's very, very difficult to hit him with a clean shot. You've got to be careful, Crook. Just get back on his bike and use those fast jabs and fast combinations.
Getting a bit messy now.
Another good round for Roche. Took the fight to him, but fairly even round, and Roche is definitely getting into the fight in a big way now.
Well, the question is, has he got enough time in which to swing this fight around, because, as I say, there's no doubting in my mind he lost the first 5 rounds.
See Jackie Trickett in Roche's corner there. He's impressed by his performance in the last few rounds. He'll be saying, get on your bike and go again. He's just had another champion with Sugar Jaribalu, the super featherweight champion, so he wants another champion with Roche. But he's a hell of a job to turn this fight around. Crook has a good lead on him.
Second fight, round 9.
Round 9. The challenger, Brian Roche from Bacup in the black, really mounting a spirited challenge in the latter part of this fight against the champion, and Charlie Crook.
Yeah, the fight took on a completely different look now. It's gone from a boxing match into a fight. And as we all stated earlier, the only contest that Roche had any chance of winning was a fight. So fair play to him for doing just that. And Cole's going to try and get back to where he left off.
And
move his feet, and he's used his great round speed.
Yeah, the jab earning
boxing
applause from Freddie King, just a yard or so to my left in the corner.
There's a whole new side of enthusiasm, not just about Roche, his corner and everything going with him. He's absolutely enjoying what he's doing now, but I don't think he enjoyed that right hand which landed flush. He's coming straight back. He's put a lot into the last few rounds, Roche. I hope he's in good shape, because
there's Freddie King.
It's a long fight, and I know Cole's always in supreme condition.
Freddie King applauding like a good one.
Yeah, he's probably tried that right hand on the pads for the last couple of weeks, so he'll be well pleased with that one.
Now this is a much better round for Crook. He's got back the initiative that he lost.
It's not that he's doing anything different or spectacular, he's just doing what he's good at, which is keeping it long, moving his feet and using his speed and his good boxing ability. Now Roche doesn't even think about setting you up, he just comes leading in with big shots, gets close and bangs away. This is a better round now from the champion.
Big kerfuffle behind me, because Nigel Kennedy, celebrated violinist, just arrived with an entourage.
I don't think the fight's quite worthy of a violin.
Well, I'll tell you, they are.
Appointment.
The jabs are going like a fiddler's elbow in that ring.
I'll leave the jokes to you, Dave.
Thank you. No, I tell you, this is to get back to the real world. This is developed into a grueling fight. This.
Yeah, Cole's now beginning to know that he's going to have to possibly travel the full route. You know, earlier on I'd have made him red hot favourite to win inside distance, but Roche has now got an appetite for the fight and he's making things happen. He's looking to bob and weave his way forward. Still running onto shots at the moment, though, from the class fast counter-punching Crook. It's now turned into a battle.
And the crispness that had marked so much of Carl Crook's early work is now back, and he took that round quite comfortably.
I don't know whether a little bit of tiredness has set in with Brian Roche. Put a lot into the last few rounds, and maybe that was the price he had to pay.
Well, there's Nigel Kennedy and his girlfriend Brix. Celebrated Aston Villa fan. Didn't know he was a boxing fan. Well, there you go, you live and learn.
There again, a fight like this, which has got such public attention, is the type of fight people come to be seen rather than to see.
You never see him down the York Hall Bethnal Green, do you?
That's correct.
No,
I'm not saying he's not a boxing fan.
If we can convert just one of the celebs and get them down the York Hall or up to Dudley or Wolverhampton, we'll have served our purpose. It's smashing to see all the celebrities here, but it'd be even nicer to see them at boxing's grassroots as well.
It's all part of the big-time action.
Yes, indeed. Well, you had a few celebs at your fights, Barry.
Yeah, quite a few, and I didn't like to look at them too much, just concentrating on my opponent. But yeah, there are lots of celebrities. A world title fight like this is a tremendous occasion, and it's great to have all these celebs around the ring. It just shows how important a big title fight like this is, and how important Mr. Eubanks is, and of course Michael Watson.
Yeah, we saw a glimpse in that crowd shot then between the rounds of Mike McCallum, who will not be figuring against the winner. I'll tell you more about that when we come to the main fight. Let's go back to this one. Carl Crook in the maroon and light blue.
Yeah,
Brian Roche in the black and amber. That was a good last round for Carl Crook.
Fantastic. He came right back into the fight. He started using the right tactics again, and started moving around the ring, flicking that jab and landing the combinations. And Roche looked a bit tired at the beginning of this round and was hurt with a few good right hands. But Carl's just using the right tactics, flicking the jab and quick punches, quick combinations, and he's not getting mixed up in any rough stuff. That's what he's got to do. Roche, on the other hand, has got to come forward, and he looks really tired there with that last combination. Yeah, really shaky.
The right left had him hanging on, and he's in trouble here. He's going, and he's gone. The count is 6, the towels come in. Crook celebrating, that's it.
Tremendous finish to this fight. Well done, Carl Crook. Hard lines, Brian Roche. Oh, what a great finish. Superb.
The man's a champion.
Finished like a champion. Beautiful. So Carl, all along, he, just a little short stage where he looked to have lost his composure, but when he got it back, he finished in style.
Well, I told you he wasn't a one-punch finisher, but when he gets you on the hook with those combinations, he does not let you off. This is how he finished, Barry.
Right hand, left hook. Watch how accurate he is. Another right hand. Roche staggers back, misses him with the first one. Watch the next one doesn't miss. Right hand, straight down the pipe. Left hook again, double left hook, right hand, finish. That's it. Tremendous performance. That's the way to finish. If he can't punch, if he can't knock him out with one shot, finish him with the combinations like that. That's fabulous performance.
Absolutely, 10 out of 10 for the finish. Beautiful.
So Carl Crook making the 3rd successful title defence. He's already got a Lonsdale belt. As we look down from our aerial camera, it's a shame from Carl Crook's viewpoint that you can only win 1 Lonsdale belt per weight at the moment. This was a clinical championship style finish. He gets to keep the belt. Well, he's got it already, hasn't he? And Brian Roche did not beat the count. So a tremendous win for Carl Crook. Round 10. We're going to take a short break now, and when we come back, we won't be too far away from the fight of the night.